about, let's just say, masks, right? It's one of those. What do you why do you really believe it's an infringement? Yeah, I do. And you're like, okay, but if you started with talking about how laughing about what you guys did in high school,
Yeah.
laughing about the buddy of yours that pooped his pants, in
Common
fifth
ground
period.
stuff.
Yeah, and so like
Yeah.
then you're like, all right, dude, you remember when Scotty did that? You're like, dude, and then you laugh and you hug it out, and then the conversation changes.
Yeah.
It's not so combative, and it's not like I hate you and us versus them. And another question too, and I know you're not an actual neuroscientist or an evolutionary biologist, but a big piece of what I've found is that tribalism stems from evolution.
Yeah.
We do not want to be kicked out of the tribe.
Oh, it was necessary for your individual survival as well as the survival for the tribe. There was this entwined dynamic. The tribe needed you, you needed the tribe. So anything that excluded you from the tribe was a mortal danger, right?
Yeah.
And so the need to conform to the tribe, and it's interesting as you read Tolstoy, as I read Tolstoy. I read Anna Karenina over the last couple of weeks. Now I'm reading War and Peace. And you see this conflict between the individual and society. Society's always pulling the individual to conform in all these ways. And the individual's often pulling back in his or her own direction, saying, why should I do that? Why should I do that? And yet you've got this creative dynamism of support and conflict. And then Freud ends up writing Civilization and its discontents about the very same thing. I mean, what's the ego to do? What's the id to do? What's the individual to do with all these pressures to conform to society? I think it's important to understand the evolutionary and the anthropological function of close-knit relationships. Kinship, which eventually expands to friendship, which then eventually expands to form its own sort of kinship, which is such a gravitational pull for human beings that if you think that towing the line with respect to your shibboleth, saying the things that everybody else around you says is necessary for your protection, your belonging, your crew, you're going to be really hard to pull out of that, and we're seeing that all around us in society right now, which is inimical to a lot of the reasons we have society, we have culture, we have government, for protection, for flourishing. You can't flourish in an atmosphere of warring tribes. Nobody can feel safe. Nobody can flourish. And so our challenge right now is to find our way out. And because so much is filtered through social media, where people aren't face to face to hug it out, to joke about those friends they had in common in high school, but people are clashing against strangers all the time over things they disagree on. There isn't that mechanism to kick in to bring people together. They just feel this pulling apart. So,
and I also think that